All right, Throwback Thursday here on Culotta and the Prince. Today we caught up with former tailback with the Tigers, Harvey Williams, who's over in Houston coaching his son now, Tyson Williams. We looked up a little video on Tyson once we went final today. Tyson looks like he's going to be a big-time prospect.
Yeah, 6'2" is legit, and he can play.
Ed Zonbrecker comes down and spends a couple of days a month with Tyson Williams. Of course, Zonbrecker was the offensive coordinator for Hodson, Williams, and Davis. Last week we talked to Wendell Davis. Today it was Harvey Williams. What's your favorite Harvey Williams moment or memory?
There's a couple of them. The thing I remember vividly is the injury against Tulane in New Orleans.
He was running wild that night.
Running absolutely wild that night, and sitting in the Superdome watching that game. I remember it, and just kind of, this was at a point in time where when a guy hurt his knee, it wasn't like it is now, where it's like, oh, he hurt his knee. They're gonna do some surgery and he'll be back, and next year he'll be good to go. There was legitimate concern about whether or not his career was ever going to get back to where it was, and I know that he ended up playing 8 years in the National Football League after being a first-round pick. That's a pretty big accomplishment for him. I love you could hear the passion in his voice. Yeah. As soon as he came on, he was talking about how he had to go in the locker, go in the closet, and get all his stuff, and you could hear the enthusiasm in his voice. And it's not just the enthusiasm when you start talking about him, but the experience of LSU, and I think that's something that the fans always love to hear. Yeah,
it was a great conversation. If you missed any of it, check it out at 1045ESPN.com. Harvey Williams, former Tiger, great first-round pick with the Kansas City Chiefs, spent some time with the Los Angeles Raiders. Tells a great story about this morning when Al Davis gave him a call and asked him to come out there and coach, but he decided to stick home and stay around his family. It's really good insight. Joe Oliva, cost of attendance was I guess, the highlight of that conversation.
Yeah, Jordy, and cost of attendance, that's when you and I were in Hoover, that's all anybody wanted to talk about. It's going to be the big deal. And, this school's saying cost of attendance is $5,000. This is saying $2,000. So, was that $3,000 going to make a difference in recruiting? And so that's definitely something to pay close attention to. And again, you don't know if it's going to be a situation where the conference doesn't institute legislation where they say we're going to cap it at this amount, and it's going to be something that's going to be fair to everybody. So who knows?
Local sports TV game show today. Seth Lewis from WBRZ was here. The podcast will be great. 1045ESPN.com. And we got some reaction, obviously, to Jalen Mills being lost yesterday on the Ponderosa on the practice field for a unspecified amount of time. It seems like 4 to 6 weeks is about as consistent as we've heard.
Yeah, but I also think that's kind of the default. Whenever somebody gets hurt, they're either out for the season or out 4 to 6. So who knows? I can tell you this much. And of course, again, our graphics package is incredible here. If you look at the schedule right there, McNeese State, Mississippi State, Auburn. If he's not 100% for the Mississippi State-Auburn weeks back-to-back, September 12th and 19th, then I don't expect him to force him back until October 10th when they play South Carolina. I think if you look at that, the Syracuse and Eastern Michigan games in the 26th of September and October 3rd, give LSU an advantage there to not have to worry about forcing him back, because if you get through weeks 2 and 3 in conference, you don't have another conference game until week 6. So that's something that you look at there and you say, you know what, there's some time built in. There's some things that build a little bit of time in there to actually help him get a little bit more healthy than he may have been if you try to get him back too soon.
Check out the podcast online, 1045ESPN.com. We're on Monday through Friday, 7 to 9 a.m. right here on 1045, 1049 ESPN Baton Rouge.